Our special guest today is Patricia Maria Nia Tavares, Country Director at K2 Corporate Mobility. She's got a talk show called Brazil Talks and LATAM Talks. Global mobility is her passion. And we'll be right back with Patricia. Patty, stay tuned. And you're back on Global TV Talk Show, and I'm Ed in San Diego, and our special guest today, very special, VIP, is Patty Tavares in Sao Paulo. It's been years since I've been there. I need to go back and do one of our live meetings, but it won't be this year, I don't think. So Patty is now country director with a company called K2 Mobility. And as you can see, she's also representing Brazil Talks and LATAM Talks. Welcome, Patty.
Thank you, Ed. Yes, you do have to come down and don't give up this year. It's still March. You never know what's going to happen until the end of the year.
I know, but maybe it'll have to wait until the fall. I'm not sure yet. I'm doing my first live meeting in 3 years, May 9 in London.
Okay.
And I'm trying to set up May 10 in Paris and May 11 or 12 in Copenhagen or Geneva. I'm not sure yet. And then we may do Germany, and then we may do Milano. Just not sure yet. But it's been 3 years since I've produced a live meeting. Because
that's crazy, isn't it? It's just flown by the time, right?
We used to do so many of them. And then all of a sudden, zip, nothing. And then I had to learn how to be a happy TV talk show host. And it's a world of its own.
Yep, it is. It really is.
But it's a good way if you get this down and you're comfortable, as I've become, to remember to look at the green light, and don't look right at it, because then I'll shine. My glasses will shine differently. So, and then I can't see anything. So.
Yeah, it's different, right? It's weird. I mean, I came from lots of personal meetings also, and personal events and everything, and then all of a sudden webinars, and I'm like, whoa, how do you keep people attention in a webinar, right? You never know if they're multitasking, if they're not. So yeah, it is tough.
So I want to talk about the industry, the mobility industry, of course.
Okay.
But I want to talk about yourself too, and about Brazil, and corporate relocations. So let's talk about the industry first for a couple of minutes. And audience, this is unscripted. We'll call this a documentary.
That's nice.
Stand by. So the talk has been for years, but nothing much has been done about it from my view. Maybe you have a different view. And that is taking mobility out of the silo and fully integrating it with talent recruitment, acquisition, development, and retention, and measuring ROI every step of the way, so that it proves itself a viable thing, and not just we'll give it to them down the hall and they'll take care of the moving and all that stuff. So what's your view? Because you come from a corporate background, and now you're doing the services. So I would think it's a natural for you.
I would give you 3 views.
Number
Patty's
one.
view, corporate view, vendor view. three different views, I think.
So let's identify that. You're going to do your view first.
Okay, so Patty view is lots of people asked us in the beginning of the pandemic, what's going to happen to global mobility? Global mobility is going to end. No, we're not going to have any more assignees. All the companies are going to go back, go crazy, and this and that. And it was very challenging in the beginning, but I said since day one that global mobility would never end, because global mobility is something that is global. Companies are global today, so you need to circulate the talent. You need to send knowledge, to share knowledge. You need to send them to other countries, and you need to receive in your country. What has changed, and that is everybody is following, is the types of assignments, the duration of the assignments, all these remote workers, nomads now that are coming up, and different ways of putting it. It's nothing more, nothing less than global mobility. So no, global mobility for me, Patty, is never going to end.
So
Okay.
therefore, what you've just said in my ears here is
Mm-hmm.
that talent is everywhere. They don't have to be
Mm-hmm.
under your nose down the hall or down on the
No,
third
not
floor.
at all.
They can be anywhere. They can work from Singapore as long as they're
Mm-hmm.
productive. And therefore, you could hire someone in a far off place without any real immigration cost or anything,
It,
connected with that.
yeah, so that comes into the types of policies, right? If you're talking remote worker, you can have somebody working in your country, for example, for another country. Obviously, before you define that, you always have to check the immigration clause, and you also have to check taxes, right? So
Right.
if I have somebody in the US being paid in the US but working for another country, is that possible? Is that feasible, right? Can he do that? For example, if you go
Well, why
live
not?
there.
Who cares? Just you pay the local tax, and there may be some kind of overlap tax.
Yeah, depends on the overlap tax. The tax depends if the country is a worldwide taxation or not. Depends on several other things, right? But it depends also on the company talent, right? Is the person here the person that I need? Is this person going to work, for example, US to India? What's the time zone difference? 11 hours. Will that work? How do you make that, connect? If somebody is for me, it's 2 p.m. in the afternoon, and for somebody, it's 2 a.m. in the morning. How do you make that connect work? So
Right.
there's several things that you have to consider when you're thinking remote worker, right? Because of all these nuances that you have to see. The nomads that are coming around, you have countries that are opening the nomad visa, which then is a person that is legally going into another country, knowing that you're going to be working for the other country that you were in. So if you're, for example, a Brazilian nomad, right? Let's say I were a nomad and I want to work from, I don't know, give me a nice country. I want to work from Bali, right? Because I like beaches. Brazil has beaches. Let me go check out the beaches there. I'm a nomad into Bali and I want to work from there. Perfect. I can do that. Time zone difference, not the visa problem, not immigration problem. It's your problem the way you are. You have to adapt to that country. Some countries charge taxes, even if you are a nomad and you're working there and you don't get paid there, but you still have to pay taxes there. Other countries, no. You just go with your nomad visa and you can work from the country for the other one as much as you want.
Yeah,
That's
like
becoming
some countries have say, well, you have to pay a flat fee, and so we don't have to manage you.
exactly. So it really depends on the country legislation, right? But it is an option that you're seeing, and you're seeing lots of young people doing that. You're seeing lots of people that are fulfilling their dreams. Like I really wanted to do that. I interviewed for Brazil Talks the other day an intercultural trainer, and he is doing the whole of Latin America, going into every single country, working 3 months out of each country. Because as an intercultural trainer, he wants to understand the difference of the culture within countries in Latam so that he can increase and enhance his cultural training. I thought it was phenomenal.
Yeah, I think it's great. And I,
Yeah.
I don't see any end. I see that as a great expansion
Mm-hmm.
of
Right.
diversity in the workforce.
Mm-hmm.
And someday people will actually meet in person, but it's really not required as long as that person is honest and a good worker and productive
Yeah,
and can
exactly.
document all that and plays by the
Now,
rules.
if you have these remote workers and you have these nomads, for our industry, it's not really that good,
Right,
except for the immigration industry and the tax industry. But for the relocation industry, it's not
right.
really that good, because then you don't have all the destination services, you don't have household good moves. So for our industry, it's not good. But like I said in the beginning, talent, high level talent, is always going to be moved around. So we're always going to have business in that level.
So it's a mixture of business travel, global business travel, and temporary housing for a period of time in a new location, and expert communications skills.
Very good communication skills you have to have. For sure. And then you have the other services, right? So when you're moving into the country, even if you go to a temporary accommodation, for example, you're going for a period of 6 months, let's say, you go into temporary accommodation, you still have to have an orientation because you need to know where to go to the doctor. You need to know what's
Right.
the closest supermarket. If you have kids that go with you, sometimes they take kids. Is there a nursery close where you can leave your child there? So those kind of services are still going to exist also. And then the settling in services. Are you going to have an internet? Are you going to open a bank account? Are you going to take a driver's license? All those kind of services still have to be done also. So
So
yes, we continue to exist nice and strong.
yeah. So the legal liability of, let's say let's say you're the employer, the legal liability of a remote nomad, let's call it remote worker. Is this person an independent contractor under some kind of a contract arrangement rather than you be responsible for what they say and do? As long as, but they're performing a job and that's what they control. That's what you control, but they're living their own life. It's like a gig.
So it does depend on the segment that you're in, right? So if you go, for example, to IT, you have lots of contractors working for IT, right? Because they are the most remote. Let's say the ones that really started out with remote is the IT, the IT people. If you go to financial services, then you need to have a link with the company to be able to work with the company, because you have to go into their systems. You have to have information, legal information from your clients. You have to be GDPR, right? Assessed. You have to make sure that you're very compliant and everything. So you need to be an employee of the company. Some companies let you work remote, others don't. Some roles in the company allow you to be remote, others don't. So yeah, it really is an analysis that has to be done between the company and the person that wants to be working remote. Liability, yes, there will always be a little bit. So you have to make sure you're getting everything legally aligned so that you don't have any issues.
So let me ask you a hypothetical just to sum up this category we're talking about at the moment. I'm in California and I want to work for you. You're the employer, global employer, and you don't have an opening in California. You got it covered, but you have an opening in Pakistan. And so is it possible that I could contract with you, sitting here in downtown San Diego, 92101, yet my job is to do business in Pakistan, perched here in San Diego, but not traveling there?
Okay, so that would be also something to be aligned, because what is your job? Is your job, for example, to find clients in San Diego to send to Pakistan the business?
I don't know. I didn't think of it. But...
Right. But those are all the things that you have to think of. Right?
Yeah, right.
So if that would be a job, yes, you can perfectly well sit in San Diego. Is what you were doing, for example, working on an IT system, recording a TV program that can be recorded anywhere and then sent to be passed in TV in Pakistan? Yes, you can do it. Do you need local contact and local communication with the people in Pakistan? You would have to analyze if it can be done, because you can do local contact and communication over videos, but you have to see if the culture of the Pakistani people will allow that and will accept that. So there's so many things that you have to think of before you make a proposal that it actually makes a challenge interesting.
So now let's talk about you as K2 mobility company. What is K2? That's a mountain, isn't it? And Mount Everest?
Yeah, it is a mountain. The name of our company is K2 Corporate Mobility. We are a relocation management company, and we are spread out in all the continents. We have offices in all the continents. We are in 11 offices.
Remote?
Partially remote, yes, because, for example, I do LATAM from the Sao Paulo office. Okay. I have on my team currently 12 people. Of the 12 people, I have one that is based in the south of Brazil, one that is based in Rio. I myself am not based in Sao Paulo, and we meet once a week in the office here in Sao Paulo. This week we are here in Sao Paulo, so we all come to Sao Paulo 1 week a month, work together, and the other 3 months we work from home. So yes, 100% remote. We work LATAM, so we're not with our clients the whole time, and what we do can perfectly be done remotely.
Of course.
So we
Okay,
do
but
relocation, we do immigration, destination services, and all done remotely for all the countries.
and you've organized, or somebody in K2 has organized a system for communications and reporting, and talk about things that is as if you were at the water cooler down the hall.
Yes, we work with Microsoft, so we have Teams. We connect on Teams the whole time. Our meetings, our internal meetings, and most of the external meetings are on Teams also. So you can always reach out and talk to people. That's not an issue. And we have cell phones where you can perfectly call the person on any time also. So it's just as if you were down the hall, like we say here in São Paulo or in Brazil, for a cafezinho, which is a little coffee. Let's go for a cafezinho. So
It's not quite a cappuccino.
no, it's just a coffee, no milk. Strong.
Oh, the brown sugar stuff. Yeah.
No, nothing of that. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so
Um,
I thank you for this dialogue so far. What else should we talk about in this regard of the where and how talent is used and the role of mobility?
yeah, I think there's something important that we need to mention, Ed, which is the important role of global mobility. The corporate global mobility. Like you said in the beginning, I come from 25 years of corporate, right? So it's always something that I would raise the flag and flag it out to everybody. Global mobility is not only operational. Yes, you do have the operational side. You need to put all the information on a system. You need to do all that, but you need to be part of the decision of who is going to be the assignee.
Right. Is
Is
it
the
the
person
right person because
is
of their own shtick,
exactly,
and their
yeah,
likability, their personality?
is the person ready for a cultural shock, for example? If you're taking
Mhm.
somebody out of South Africa and bringing the person into Norway, is the person ready even for the change of climate, right? So all those kind of things, when you're talking talent, they don't think of, right? Because they only
Right.
think of the role and the
Right.
talent that is necessary. So we come in with the other side, which is the personal side of the story, and then we can help fix that, right?
You
So
come in early in the process, not after they've already
yeah.
made a decision and moved on to something else.
What happens to most of the companies is that, yes, you only get brought in when they've already made a decision. So that's why I said I always fought for it for the time I was there. You
Yeah.
have to bring us in more and let us be more strategical. We can get you better candidates. So
Yeah. And there's a cost. You can measure that cost, perhaps,
yeah,
but only afterwards, looking back.
exactly. Yeah,
Yeah.
really good.
So that discussion is important. And I would think not all the C-suite gives a damn.
No, they like going. They're fine with that. They do. Some people like to move and want to move from one country to the other, and
Mhm.
some people don't want to move. Some people have roots in their cities and they don't want to leave, right?
Right.
And
Right.
and others are ready. Others are just like pick up my things and go, no problem. So that we can help identify that also.
But with the C-suite, and this is just conjecture,
Hmm.
and then we'll move on. Does the C-suite care about the incidence of saving money by bringing global mobility you into the discussion early rather than late?
Normally, you would have a budget that you need to work out of. If you're within the budget, the C-suite is okay. If you start going over the budget, then they start complaining. So how you comply with the budget, I don't. As long as you comply with it, they're okay.
So,
Yeah.
once again, is the timing of when you're brought into the
Mm-hmm.
decision about who to send and when.
Mm-hmm. Like I said, I think we need to be global mobility needs to be brought in early in the process.
So when
And then
there is a
and in both
C-suite,
processes, when you're
yeah,
talking, for example, expatriation and you're talking repatriation,
yeah,
you also need to be brought in early because we can help tell you how the person went during the assignment. Was the person ready to be there? Does the person want to go on another one? Or does the person want to go back home? And then you can bring in talent, you can bring in recruitment to see where you have roles available so that you can help fit the expat that's repatriating into that role. So if you bring us in, I think it's a lot more productive and we'll bring better results.
It would help if the C-suite stakeholder, whoever that may be,
Definitely.
has been on an assignment.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. Because then they understand more the pains and the gains.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we have around 8 minutes or so left. And I know you're a very busy person, so we're going to
I'll give you 7 because I have to hang up
most.
this one and join the next one.
Oh, okay, good. Okay, ready, set, go. What do you have coming up on Brazil Talks?
So Month of the Woman here, right? International
Yes.
Month of the Woman, now March.
Yeah.
I have a big event. I'm going to do a personal event in person. I think it's going to be nice also. It's the 3rd time we do something since we created Brazil Talks in 2020. And it's going to be talking about women empowerment. So we're talking in general about women, not empowerment only in mobility, but empowerment in general. So what is going to happen with women? How do you prepare women to be empowered? Do you work with young talent? Do you work with older talent, right? That has not been empowered yet. And how do you make them understand what empowerment is and up to where does empowerment go? So it's going to be interesting.
Will there be any men in the room?
Oh yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I think so. I hope so.
And it'll be a luncheon?
It's going to be a breakfast.
A breakfast.
A breakfast, yeah.
Yeah, at some hotel somewhere or a restaurant.
We're doing it at the rooftop of one of our vendors. That is our sponsor at Brazil Talks. They're giving us the space, their rooftop space. So it's going to be an open space there with a breakfast buffet and then chairs around so that we can talk everybody together. It's supposed to be very interactive because we're supposed to have people asking questions. I hope they ask questions. You never know, right? From the audience.
So one of the things I use when I'm prepping guests who are not as seasoned as you and I are with media is getting them, I invite collaboration, which I'm sure you do too. And I ask them to send me talking points, identifying key things that they would be comfortable with me asking them to dialogue. And so that brings prep for them and comfort, and it informs me about what's important for them, and it helps me manage the time.
Yeah, so we're doing that also. We're organizing what we want to do, but what we're doing as a new thing with Brazil Talks is we're putting a questions box on our LinkedIn and on our Instagram, our social media, for people to put questions already there. So you're going to have the title of the event and send your question previously. Maybe we can get it answered, right?
Yeah.
We hope that people participate. It's the first time we're doing it, so we don't know if there's going to be a high level of participation.
Yeah.
I don't know. We have to test it, right? Make things different. We're trying to do things different to call people's attention.
May 9, I'm producing, as I said earlier, my first live meeting in 3 years. It's going to be in London, and I'm calling it VIP, virtual and in person.
Oh, that's nice.
Okay, you using this. And so the luncheon part will not be recorded by design. Okay. And the reception following the education session will not be recorded, but the education will be just like this. And that enables, I'm sharing my secrets, that enables the speakers and the sponsors to have a worldwide reach without any expense. And that's so great. we will have in-person speakers in London, but we'll have more virtual speakers. You know, people who will be in Sweden will be in Dubai or somewhere else, and they'll be in London on TV and participating. And
that's cool.
That is going to be the first time we'll be doing that in that mixture. It's pretty exciting. And
it is.
I'm jazzed up about doing that. Well, Patty, thank you so much for doing this. Yesterday, March 1st, I did a women's oriented program
Mm-hmm.
with Dr. Lynn Schmidt. I'll send you the program link so you could review it. You might find
Okay.
it really interesting. And we had a speaker from India, and we had a speaker from Rotterdam, and
Mm-hmm.
a speaker from Utah. and
Uh-huh.
Dr. Lynn was in Boise, Idaho, and I'm in San Diego.
Uh-huh.
We had a
That's
thousand
cool.
viewers
Wow, that's
because of
amazing.
the distribution. And so
Uh-huh.
we're going to do it again on the 8th, which is
Mm-hmm.
the day,
The day, yeah.
right? And
Uh-huh.
I would welcome you to join us. We're going to start at my 6:30 in the morning. So
Mm-hmm.
it may conflict with what you're doing, but I'll send you the info and see whether you want to jump on. I would love to have Latin America voice on that show. It'll have many voices. But
I would love to be on the show and represent Latin America. Count
okay,
me
good.
in.
All right, I'll send it to you, and you'll take a look, and we can dialogue. Okay, very quickly. I
Mm-hmm.
know you're busy, and then I'm going to do a special Latin America focus on women.
Mm-hmm.
And I have one speaker already in Mexico City, who's
Mm-hmm.
a book author, and that's going to be later in the month. So
Mm-hmm.
I'll send you that info.
Okay, that's great.
Okay, thank you very much for being on Global
Thank
TV.
you, Ed, for inviting me again. I know we've been together a few times, but it was
Yeah,
really nice to be with you today. Thank you
thank
so
you.
much.
Have a good one. Bye bye.
Okay, you too.
Thank you.
Bye.